Well, that sucked. Harrison Graham here from Chat Sports on New England Patriots Today, and Patriots fall short 31-17 to the Miami Dolphins. We told you guys all week this was a pivotal game to see if the Patriots could turn the corner and get this season back on track. And there was some good stuff out there today, but not nearly consistently enough as Miami scored late to pull away by 2 touchdowns. Mac Jones did have a good drive to make it a 24-17 game with about 7-8 minutes left in the fourth quarter, midway through that fourth, but a good team did what a good team does, right? Tua drove them down and iced the game with a late touchdown. So Dolphins 31, Patriots 17. Pats fall to 2-6 on the season. Trade deadline Tuesday. We'll talk about that in this post-game reaction as well. But let's start with some stuff that happened on the field today. And got to start with the quarterback. Mac is not back. Again, there was some good stuff, but this is just kind of a classic Mac Jones game where, like, the good is good, but the bad is bad, and at the end of the day, he's not a high level of enough player to have the bad as often as he does. 19-29, 161, 2 touchdowns and the interception. I mentioned the touchdown drive to cut it to 7 was a nice drive. It was, I think, like 14 plays, 81 yards, something like that, to give yourself a chance. But at the end of the day, it wasn't enough. And Rolly, when you got a quarterback in year 3, which we bring in our Super Patriots producer, Nic Rohloff, it just, you got to see more consistency. And by the way, Miami's defense isn't exactly a strength of theirs either. I know they had Jalen Ramsey back today who picked that pass off, but not a good enough performance from Mac.
Yeah, you talk about the Dolphins defense. They were bottom 10 in the NFL coming into this game, and you were only able to put up 17 points. And I know a lot of Patriots fans might look back at this game and say, well, if the defense was able to do their job and get a stop on 3rd and 10 late in that fourth quarter, well, Mac Jones would have had a chance down 7 to go tie or take the lead with a 2-point conversion. But to me, you can't blame the defense at all, and you have to look at the quarterback, which is Mac Jones. You mentioned some good things, some bad things. He was able to capitalize off the interception from Kyle Duggar early, read the defense. Pop Douglas got double-teamed, found Kendrick Bourne over the middle for a 25-yard touchdown. But after that, it was really ugly. Not able to process things as correctly. Offensive line struggled at times on 3rd down when they were bringing blitzes on blitzes on blitzes, especially on those 3rd down money downs. But I think the biggest issue was that pick that you're going to talk about here in a second. You have a chance after the break. You force a turnover. You're able to maybe make it a 17-14 game rather than 17-10 right out of the break. Mac Jones stares down Kendrick Bourne, and a good corner like Jalen Ramsey is always going to be able to read a quarterback's eyes and make that interception.
Yeah, I thought that was the pivotal point in this game. And look, we can talk about the defense if we want to, but Miami's offense is just very good. I mean, they're going to be hard to slow down, especially when you have bad turnovers. And I thought that Jones pick was critical. It was 14-7 at the time, and he stares him down like Rolly says. The ball is late. It's floating. I mean, as soon as he throws it, you're like, oh, no, this could be bad. And it was. Ramsey picked it off, and obviously Miami was able to go cash in there, and it took a while to get back into the game. To Mac's credit, he was able to give you sort of a chance late, but again, if you're asking your defense to get a pivotal stop against that offense late in the game to give your offense one last chance, I don't like your chances overall. So that pick was a backbreaker. There's no doubt about it, and now you're back to the drawing board a little bit here at 2-6 with the critical 48 hours coming up before the trade deadline. What do you guys think? Is this Mac Jones last year in New England? And I mean, like, as the clear-cut starter. Maybe he's back and has to compete, or they bring in someone else and he's the backup. But I mean, like, entering the season, he was the clear guy this year. Is that the case next year? I would say no, if you're asking me, if I'm guessing here. Why for yes, you think it is going to be his last year, which is what I think. I think he could be back, but not as a clear-cut starter. Type in for no. You don't think so. You got to give him more time. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. All right, let's talk some injury news. Kendrick Bourne left this game with a knee injury, did not return. Now, the latest update is that he is going to get an MRI on Monday, and they're hoping it's just an MCL here, and that would be big, right? I mean, if you're going to continue to evaluate Mac Jones this year, which you might as well, you don't really have anybody else worth evaluating. I don't think Bailey Zappe's the future. You need as many guys out there as you can, and Kendrick Bourne has been at least somewhat reliable compared to most of this receiving core. Was having a pretty good game before he exited. Had that touchdown, 3 catches for 36 yards, and Roley, it's already an underwhelming receiver group as a whole. You can't afford to lose guys like Kendrick Bourne right now.
Yeah, he's been your clear-cut number one wide receiver pretty much the entire year. And after an up-and-down season last year with Matt Patricia at OC, Kendrick Bourne came back, revitalized, re-energized, and was performing. And is Mac's favorite target to go to, and it's just devastating to see him go down with an injury. Hopefully it's not too serious for Kendrick because he's been very good with Mac Jones over the past 2 or 3 weeks. And if he does miss an extended period of time, where do you go from here? Because Parker has stunk it up. Juju didn't play until the fourth quarter, did catch a touchdown late, but did not get a snap until the fourth quarter. So are you really turning to Demario Douglas as your wide receiver one? I know a lot of Patriots fans like him, but I don't think he has wide receiver one potential as a 6th-round rookie this year.
Yeah, I just think you're putting a player in a position to not be successful if you do that. Like, I just don't think that's best for Douglas's development if you're asking him to go be your top guy. So we'll see what happens there. Keep tabs tomorrow. We'll have more coverage here on Patriots Today. All right, before we continue this post-game show, it is sponsored by Prize Picks. And listen, Sunday Night Football coming up in a few hours, and if you want to play daily fantasy sports for tonight's game, you can do that. You can also do NBA entries, World Series entries, college football. Prize Picks does it all. The easiest, most simple daily fantasy sports game that is out there. The way it works is very simple. You pick anywhere from 2 to 6 players on any given entry, and if they will go for more or less than their Prize Picks projection. I got a little 3-player entry for Sunday Night Football tonight. Tyson Bagent, I think he hits the more on the passing yards in his second career start. The Chargers are dead last in pass defense, so I think Bagent can at least scratch, 210, 215 yards there. I'm going to go more on Deontay Foreman rushing as well. He's been kind of the workhorse for Chicago while Justin Fields has been sidelined. And then Justin Herbert's struggling a little bit. Last 3 games has probably been the worst 3-game stretch of his career. They're struggling to run the football with Austin Eckler, so I'm going to go with the less. I think that passing number is a little bit high there. $10 to win 50 with Prize Picks. PrizePicks.com/CLNS. Use code CLNS. They'll give you a deposit match up to $100. What's cool about Prize Picks, you're not playing pros. You're not playing sharks. It's just you versus the projection. So get started with Prize Picks today. Okay, I think that brings us to the trade deadline here. I think you got to be sellers here. Now, that doesn't mean you sell everything, but I'm looking at a guy like Josh Uche. Like, if you can get a 3rd-round pick, I mean, that's something I'm considering. Again, I'm not just giving guys away. I'm not going to take a 4th or a 5th or something like that, but you're clearly not going to buy at 2 and 6. I think that much is very, very clear. The question is, how much do you sell at 2 and 6? Because again, we talked about it this week. If you win, get to 3 and 5, winnable games coming up. But I think 2 and 6 is too much of a hill to climb at this point in time. I think these are some names to monitor over the next 48 hours. Josh Uche, who I mentioned. Kyle Duggar, we'll talk more about him in a second. Roley's got a strong opinion there that he wants to get to you guys. Juju Devontae Parker, does that Juju touchdown, I mean, can you get a 6th or a 7th for him maybe? Does he show enough there to get something out of him? Trent Brown as well. There's been some buzz that maybe a team that could use a tackle could bring him in. He's actually been pretty decent this year. But Roley, again, we talked about it. Like, this was pivotal to win this game if you wanted to either be in the stand pat or even buy category. I just don't think you can go that route now.
Yeah, and my main takeaway from this game, Harrison, is like the lack of talent, the disparity between Miami and New England is just so large.
Especially at the skill positions.
And it's so apparent that it's like, all right, if you're able to beat the Bills and Dolphins back-to-back weeks, I was a large proponent. All right, let's go get a weapon. Let's go add to this offense, and let's go try to go on a run, because with 3 winnable games coming up, I thought there was potential there. But after watching this game, it's clear that even if they get a couple wins here down the stretch, they will never actually have a chance to beat a real contender when it matters. And I just don't see a point in buying anymore after this loss, so why not sell? Now, I will preface this personally, Harrison. I do not believe in selling off your best players for not enough draft capital just to get rid of them. Like, for example, Josh Uche. I think he's worth a day 2 pick. If you're only getting a 5th, I'm not doing that.
Yeah, no.
But, like, if someone offers a 2nd or 3rd, then you start thinking about it. Now, you talk to Kyle Duggar. We'll talk about him more in depth in a second, but when you think about those other wide receivers, I'd take anything for Devontae Parker or Juju, for all that matters. Get away with those contracts because they both have 2 or 3 years left. get rid of those deals for a 6th or 7th. I'm fine with
Play
that.
the young guys anyway, right? Give Tyquan Thornton a look. I know he hasn't showed you much, but why
He's
not?
healthy and active today, which stunk. It's like, why wouldn't – I know Parker's got the contract, but now we're just talking here, spitballing. Give me the speed and upside of Thornton over the frame and jump ball ability of Parker. Parker can't separate.
No.
Thornton can at least threaten the defense vertically because of how fast he is. Parker can't do that.
You have to account for his speed at least.
I mean, I just think Devontae Parker stinks. He's really got to stop getting playing time on this New England team. Give me Tyquan Thornton. With Bourne out, honestly, if they rolled with a wide receiver core of Douglas, Thornton, Rager, and then one of, I guess, Juju and Parker, that's what you got to do.
Fine with me. Hit that subscribe button before we get to Kyle Duggar here. If the Patriots make any trades, we're going to have you covered here on this channel. Trade deadline is Tuesday. We'll have the latest trade rumors tomorrow, and we'll kind of wait and see on what happens Tuesday. But whatever happens, we will cover it. So sub for more Patriots content. Almost at 6,100 subscribers. Appreciate all the new subs we've picked up. All right, don't trade Kyle Duggar. To Rolly's point, you don't trade just to trade, and you don't trade good players, especially young good players. Sure, should the Patriots enter some level of rebuild? Yeah, I think they do, because I think they're probably going to have to evaluate quarterback pretty harshly. We'll leave the coaching out of it for the purpose of this video today, but I think a lot of things are potentially on the table. But Kyle Duggar is a top 5 for sure, maybe top 3 player on this team right now. Like, I just don't think that you just trade this guy for a day 2 pick because, we're not going to win this year. Well, he's one of your better players. He wants to be here. You got to pay some guys. I think this is a guy that I would absolutely keep. And, Rolly, I know your opinions here are pretty strong as well when it comes to Kyle Duggar.
Yeah, I think Kyle Duggar is, to your point, maybe the 2nd or 3rd best player on this defense. And listen, your offense doesn't have that too many talented players, so that means he's top 5 on your team. Maybe you can argue Trent Brown from the offensive side is the only person that would be worthy of being higher on Kyle Duggar. But Duggar, to me, is a cornerstone for this defense alongside Christian Gonzalez in that secondary for years to come.
And again, he's young, so why not keep him around? All right, that's going to mostly do it for our post-game reaction, but we want you guys to chime in on this with the trade deadline looming. Name a player the Patriots should trade away. Do you want to trade Duggar? Do you want to trade Uche? Trent Brown? Let us know what name on this team is worth shipping out, as the Patriots are likely sellers at the NFL trade deadline. All right, guys, that's going to do it. Patriots fall to 2-6 after a 31-17 loss to the Miami Dolphins. Again, big 48 hours coming up for this franchise and throughout the NFL. So be sure to subscribe. We'll have it all covered here on the channel.